Yes, it's that time again. Over 50, so what? I'm Carol and welcome. I thought we'd kick off today with a reminder about some of the things we've covered in the last few months. When it comes to fitness, anything you do is better than nothing. Any movement is better than nothing. Even standing up burns 9 more calories an hour. So just try standing up watching TV or standing up a bit more often. And of course, 5 minutes a day and you're on your way. So be sure to join us after the break in the 5-minute fitness routine, and it's the first one I've done since I had my foot in the moon boot. And if you'd like to do 5-minute fitness routines every day, just jump on YouTube. Over 50, so what? Then we've been looking at things to help us to feel better. One of them is our body language, standing and walking like a superhero, and smiling at people a bit more often. And of course, keeping connected with your friends and family, talking to someone at least once a day. And then we've done a lot for our brain health, trying new things. We've looked at juggling and dancing and discussion groups. Today, we're going to look at Papercraft, which is a great opportunity for you to explore your creativity. Now, we're going to discuss how we can communicate better so that people understand us, even your own partner. We have emotional intelligence expert John Lane Smith. Today on Energy for Life, we welcome back John Lane Smith, the expert in emotional intelligence, or EQ. Now, John is a professional speaker, he's an international best-selling author, and he's studied over 13,000 people from a diverse range of industries. He's helped thousands to shift their mindset, improve their communications, and improve their relationships. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about how we can improve our communications, and we're going to look at some of the differences between men and women. Hi John, welcome back to our show. Nice to see you again.
Lovely to be back, Carol. Lovely to be back.
Now, last time we learnt from you a bit about emotional intelligence and what it was and why we all need to be good at it. Now, today we're going to look at communication and why it's so difficult for people to get communication right.
I think it's absolutely amazing. When you think about the possibility of getting it wrong, it's a bit better idea of why we get it wrong so many times. So when you think of how many words we have, do you know how many words we have in the English language?
Billions.
Be wrong, because they're being invented by about 2,000 a year, usually by people of the age of 12 to 18. But in 1994, it went over 1 million words in the English language. The 500 most used words have got 14,000 definitions, and we speak up to so auctioneer level is 240 words a minute, but our subconscious, unconscious brains are working at 600 to 1,000 words a minute. So we're actually out of control. So the biggest challenge we have is that literally every word we say, or even every word we think, so we've got to think before we say. Well, some people don't do that, but every word that we actually say, our subconscious, unconscious brain is actually thinking of 300 to 400. So we've got to supercharge it. We hear a positive or speak a positive word, our subconscious, unconscious brain will come up with 3 to 4 words that will prove that. We speak a negative word, our subconscious, unconscious brain will come up 3 to 4 times the number of words to prove that. Which would you prefer? It's sort of simple, but we're out of control because that is actually happening faster than we can consciously think. So it's really important to understand, just to pause and just go, okay, what would I like to say? What would the outcome of this? Or what is the context of what we're trying to say? So when you look at it, there's a lot of words with a lot of definitions, and everybody wants to hold on to their definition of it. So that's really one of the biggest problems we have. And then we have then we have male and female, and we're never going to understand that. But there are ways of understanding that a little bit.
So what you're saying is that, you know, with all those words, only a certain number get through. So if we're talking to someone, we can expect to be misunderstood because only part of what we're saying is actually going to get through to the person on the receiving end.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of things here. Have you ever asked anybody if they've understood what you've said?
Occasionally.
I'm pleased you say that, because there are people who ask it all the time. But the answer to do you understand is yes. Because if you look back to our schooling, all of our training, if we say we didn't understand, we get called dumb. So we don't want to be perceived. So if there's a group of us and the person, the trainer or the teacher or whoever that is, said, do you understand what I said? Well, if any one of you say no, that makes us out to be a little less smart than the rest, doesn't it? So we actually build this habit of just saying yes. So what we should be saying is, look, can I, now I've gone through that. Let's say I'm asking you to do something. Instead of saying, do you understand that? One of the best ways would be to say, okay, Carol, what's your take on that? What's your view on that? How do you see that? How would you envision that happening? What does that sound like to you? Does it sound like a good idea? So when you look at how different people take on communication, the first thing I say, what's your take on it? They're more practical people. So if you say, what's your take on it? How do you see it? Or does that sound okay to you? And then if you really listen, they'll come back and say, oh, my take, I don't feel right about it. Or no, that doesn't look right. Or no, that doesn't sound right. So you will find out the different ways they would like to be communicated with, either practically, visually, or auditorily. So you can actually easily find that out from somebody else just by asking those questions. But when you look at all of those words, all of those definitions, all of our experiences in life, what it really comes down to is we need to know that the other person has heard it from their perspective, not from ours.
Now, we've got that sheet of information for people who want to know more about communication and emotional intelligence, etc. They can contact us. So thank you so much for coming on the show again, John. It's absolutely been fun and a delight.
An absolute delight. This is really just scratching the surface. I often say, you know, if I could do a 2-week workshop without notes, because it's just so exciting. There are just so many stories. It's all about our stories, isn't it?
It's time to party. We're out of lockdown and I'm out of the moon boot. I will be taking it a bit easier, but on your feet, just as you are, let's have a party. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. Walking on the spot. Doing this. 3, 4, tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, tap. Again. And last one, take the feet apart, lunge from side to side, 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 side. Up, up, down, down, up, up. You can make this smaller if you're not so stable. That's it. Down, down, up, up. Again. We got it. Last one. And walking on the spot. When in doubt, just walk on the spot. Now we're going to kick the legs. Kick, 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 kick. Being careful if you're just recovering from a broken ankle. Kick, 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 and back. And if you haven't got on your feet yet, you should be doing it in your chair. Few more. Now we're going to put our feet on the railroad tracks. Straight ahead. Down, down. We're making sure the knees are going straight over the toes. That's it. If you're a bit fit, you can go down to the knees. But make sure you stick your bottom out, straight back. Okay, walking. And we go down. Up, down, and up. Down, up, down, up. Good stuff! You're doing great! Okay, walking on the spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap, tap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap. Now walking forward. Again. And forward. And back. Woo-hoo! Okay, put your feet on the railroad tracks. And we go. Good stuff. So when I say you're doing great, you're supposed to yell back at me, yes, I am. You're doing great. Yes, I am. Take a kick. That's it. We did it. Fantastic. Good job, everyone. 5 minutes a day. Woo! Welcome to the bucket list. Have you been thinking about doing your own personalised gift cards, or maybe doing some papercraft? Maybe you've been thinking about for a few months or maybe even years. That's something I'd really love to do. That would be so much fun. Well, wait no longer. Today is the day, because we have with us Michelle Brown, Creative Director from Picture to Page and Beyond. Now, Michelle is passionate about sharing her expertise and her knowledge to allow you to express your creativity. It's time to release your inner artist. Welcome, Michelle.
Excellent, Carol. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now look at this beautiful, colourful lady here. She's obviously the epitome of creativity. Now, Michelle, how did you get into all this papercraft and mixed media?
Well, I've been doing it for a long time, and I must disclose I'm not quite over 50 yet, but I do identify as over 50, so hopefully that allows me to be here. So my father was a printer and always had paper around the house, so we were always making cards and books. And also my mother was very creative. I come from a long line of sewers and dressmakers and knitters, and my mother was one who always learned a new skill every couple of years. So remember back in the 80s and 90s, she did applique and hobby techs. And then one day she went to a card making class and I went along as well. And I guess from then on, I was hooked. And then I found as I finished high school and into my university days, it was something to do that wasn't work and wasn't study. So it was a way of being creative, making cards to share with friends and family. And once I started making cards, I then discovered the world of rubber stamping, because I felt, and I still do feel like I really can't draw. And that's quite common a lot among people. So the great thing about card making and stamping is that you don't need to be able to draw. You can use other people's drawings and images to create your own cards, and then you can colour them in and make cards. And from there, I really, as the internet become more popular, got an understanding of what other people were doing and really expanded card making into more mixed media and art journaling.
So I believe most people that do papercraft are over 50, with the exception of yourself. So who exactly is doing craft and what are they doing?
Yeah, well, you will find crafters everywhere. So most people do know someone who might knit or sew. And I guess what we specialise in is what we call papercraft. So it's card making, it might be scrapbooking or art journaling. And we find that, again, it's a wide range of people, mostly women and a lot over 50 and 60. Quite a few may do it to preserve family memories, or they might themselves have a chronic illness or be a carer for someone. And we find it's just a great way to have a hobby that's for you, that you do at home, and particularly during the last 12 months, it's been something that we can know that we can do, that we can keep ourselves happy, keep ourselves occupied, and it becomes almost a therapy in itself.
Okay, well, this is a whole new area for me because I don't do crafts or anything like that, but I have been a knitter and a sewer in a past life. So what sort of things do people make? What do they do?
So I've got some examples here. So if we look at something like this, we've got a lovely little card here which was made by one of our crafters, and so we can see here that we've got a few different layers of paper. We've got some stamping, and you can see, if I put it down the side, you can see that these actually sit up a little bit. So that's one made by Chris, and it's a way of making cards. Now this is in a thank you card. Of course, birthday cards are really popular, Christmas cards. Here's another one, and this goes to show that just by using some simple collage techniques that you can make really beautiful cards as well. So this one's been made by my friend Wendy, who we'll get to meet later today. And she's collaged some flower cards. She's used a little sentiment and some pretty coloured papers. So you don't need to be thinking about if you can draw or if you can colour. There's just so many ways that you can create beautiful little gifts with just some simple techniques by basically cutting and pasting, and hopefully most of them mastered that early on. But if not, it's a chance to rediscover all those things as well.
And here we have Heidi, who is an avid crafter. She's been doing it for 25 years, and yes, she is just over 50. Hi Heidi, welcome to the show.
Hello Carol, thanks for having me.
Now you've got some amazing things here, and you've been doing it, since you were a kid basically.
Yeah, say so. I mean, it probably started in kindergarten, primary school, and a little bit of art in high school. Then it had a break while I pursued work and all that kind of thing. But then in my 20s, I visited a shop called Bellbird Paper Arts and bought one stamp and one ink pad, and the rest is history.
As they say. And you do all these amazing creations for your friends and family predominantly.
That's right, yeah.
I understand, Heidi, that you also have been doing some for charity. And
yes, that's right. I've been making cards and giving them to friends who've been holding fundraising stalls for specific events, whether it be for churches or for animal groups. And at the moment I'm working on a batch of Christmas cards that are going to go to the veterans at the end of the year.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Now, explain to us these amazing creations you've got here.
Okay, we have a few different cards. We have some that do things, like this one's called a shutter card. Maybe you can see that. When you open it, it sort of opens to reveal a sentiment. And then you've got cards that are just plain with bits on them like feathers for this emu. What else we got there? That was playing with some mixed media techniques using crunched up tissue paper and watered down inks, and then you just kind of decoupage it on with a medium, whoops, or a gloss, hello. This is done using die cuts. The die cutting machine, I call a die cutting machine in craft is kind of like your cookie cutters in baking. They cut out shapes for you so you don't have to spend all this time fussy cutting. One of my other cards that does something is one of these. I just mastered it. It's called a magic iris, and you can pull this down and it will open up and reveal a sentiment or whatever else you'd like to put in there, a picture.
Oh, I think it's starting to rain.
Of course.
Now, this is not good news if you're running craft shows around Victoria when it starts to rain.
That's okay. All of our craft shows are indoors, so rain, hail or shine, we will be there.
So Michelle runs 5 craft shows around Victoria, and she's got one coming up shortly at Pakenham. What do people do when they go to a craft show?
At a craft show, well, we gather together some of our best retailers and bring them all together in one place. So yes, in May we'll be in Cardinia Cultural Centre in Pakenham, where you can come along, and for a small entry fee you get everyone in one place, and they will offer classes, so you can come and do a class, or you can watch demonstrations, and of course you can buy all your craft supplies, you can see them in real life, and you can take them straight home. You don't need to wait for the post.
So what would your top tips be for someone who's been sitting there for weeks or months thinking, I wouldn't mind creating some cards, maybe doing a bit of journaling, I'll go to the show and see what happens. What would you suggest they do when they go to a show?
Well, certainly have a think about what you might have done previously, or what you might already have and that you can incorporate into what you've got. So whether you've previously done some painting or watercolours, perhaps you've done collage or stamping with the grandkids, get that out and see what you've got, and then you can help build on that. And then you can look at getting some base cards, so some card that's cut to the right size so that you will be able to fold that in half. And then would you primarily think of making thank you cards or get well cards or perhaps birthday cards, and then just really look for things that speak to you. So some people have a love of dragonflies and will always collect dragonflies. So just find something that sparks your interest and come and talk to the retailers. They're all absolute experts in what they do, and they love sharing their techniques with you. So come and watch them, ask questions, what might be the best ink for this, or if I want to add colour, how can I do it? And then just really don't be afraid to talk to people, because it is such a lovely community.
Because I've met some really wonderful people. I never thought this little hobby that I did on my own to just bring me joy could bring other people joy. And
just something that keeps me sane and what I enjoy doing. I don't think you ever lose the love of doing it. I hope I never do, because it's brought me a lot of joy and a lot of happiness in the last years.
So thanks so much for coming on the show. Over 50, so what? Even if you're not quite 50. Anyway, you didn't hear that from me. Okay, thanks so much, Michelle.
You're welcome, Carol. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching the show today. If you'd like that free sheet on emotional intelligence and communication skills, just drop us a note through the website or through Facebook. And if you do want to do that 5-minute fitness routine every day, just go to YouTube. Over 50, so what? If you'd like more information on From Picture to Page Papercraft shows, again, just go to our website, carolahalloran.com, or drop us a note through Facebook. And please join our Facebook group so that you don't miss out on any episodes. To recap our tips from John today, instead of saying to someone, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" why not try, "How does that sound to you?" or "What's your take on that?" or "How do you see that happening?" Be active, stay connected, I'm Carol, and this was Over 50. So what? Thanks for watching our TV show. Be sure to hit subscribe and then you'll never miss an episode. Jump on Facebook, join our group, get in on the fun, fitness, wellness and inspiration. I'm Carol, over 50. So what?